Yo, what is good YouTube? I am Richie Kim, and today I'm going to be bringing you all the performance review on D Rose's 11th signature sneaker with Adidas, the D Rose 11. Before we get started, if you all enjoy sneaker content just like this, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button down below. But anyways, let's get right into it. As always, starting off with the traction, the D Rose 11 features a traction pattern that's very identical to the D Rose 7, I believe. And what you're gonna get is a modified herringbone traction pattern. And at first, I thought the traction was a little sketchy. It was a little inconsistent, but there was a brief break-in period. And then after you get through that break-in period, the traction is actually really good. If you are playing on your cleaner courts, obviously, you're gonna have a great bite. You're gonna be able to stop on a dime. The traction is really, really nice. If you guys are playing on your average courts, I would say that the bite is still pretty good. Definitely not as great as, on those cleaner courts. But another thing you have to keep in mind, if you are playing on those average courts, is the dust pickup. This traction pattern does pick up a little bit of dust, and just depending on how much dust is on the court, clumps of dust can get just stuck onto or inside the grooves of the shoe. But a quick wipe and you guys should be good to go. Just make sure you watch out and you wipe consistently. Otherwise, you may have some issues because for me personally, there were times where I actually picked up clumps of dust and it was just stuck to the bottom of the shoe, and I could feel an occasional slip. Not like I slipped out or anything, but it was more of like a slide to a stop. So something to keep in mind. But yeah, overall, I would say that the traction is really good. Just make sure you all get through that break-in period, and I don't think you should have any problems. So moving on to the cushion, the D Rose 11 features a full-length light strike midsole, and it is partially caged on the lateral side of the shoe. But on the medial side, it is completely uncaged and it feels really, really nice. You have a thick chunk of light strike in the heel, so you have great impact protection up here and some bounce as well. And then in the forefoot, obviously it's a little bit more thinned out and it is partially caged. So I would describe the feeling as a very, very subtle bounce, but you also have really good impact protection. So, when I was playing in the shoe, I never really felt like my feet felt dead afterwards or my legs felt dead afterwards. Like, I love the way light strike feels, and this is a really good implementation of it. However, I do wish that, it wasn't as caged right here, but, I'm sure they had their reasons for doing that. But personally, yeah, I do wish it was uncaged just so you could get more of that light strike feeling. But, overall, from a cushioning standpoint, the light strike in here is still really good. I would kind of compare it to the original Next Level. Maybe not as good as that because, this is partially caged, but it is, the right amount of bounce and impact protection and court feel, so I'm really not going to complain. Overall, the cushion in the D Rose 11 is actually really good. So moving on to the materials, Adidas states that the D Rose 11 features an Adidas Zero textile upper, and to me it's kind of like basically some sort of mesh, and it's kind of a stronger mesh, but it feels very sturdy as well. And up in the toe box area, you get like this kind of knitted material. I want to say it's like a mesh though, but it does feel pretty nice. It's not too plasticky or anything, and it does provide a lot of support and rigidity in terms of the materials. So yeah, overall, I would say that the material usage is pretty good on here. It's definitely not the most premium because it's not like a high quality textile or, genuine leather or anything like that. But in terms of performance, I'd say it gets the job done. I didn't really feel any issues with the materials. On the back heel, you do have like this neoprene material, but it's like backed by some foam, and it is really nicely padded. The only thing that I really don't like about the shoe is this tongue area up top. It kind of reminds me of the LeBron 18, except, the tongue on this shoe doesn't dig into your shins, I guess. So they did that right, but I just wish that this tongue didn't come up so high. But yeah, it is what it is. And yeah, from a performance standpoint, the materials do the job just fine, so I'm really not gonna complain about that. Outside of those textile materials, you do have some fuse overlays here and there, just like around the toe box area for some added durability. So overall, material usage, not the most premium to the touch, but in terms of that performance, gets the job done just fine. So moving on to the fit, I would say that the D Rose 11 runs a half size big, so whatever your true to size is, go down a half size and you all should be good. For all of you that are wide footers to hella wide footers, I think going down a half size is still the way to go. Honestly, for me, the D Rose 11 feels a little bit wide in the forefoot. Like, I didn't have any pressure, any pain, nothing like that whatsoever. It's actually really, really nice if you do have wider feet. if you have narrow feet, you may want to try these on in stores if possible, because like I said, this forefoot area is actually a little bit wide, and it accommodates me perfectly fine. So I feel like narrow footers, you may be swimming in it a little bit, and because of that, you may have some side to side movement on the footbed, which is something you definitely don't want. So try these on in stores, but if you can't do that, narrow footers, maybe just stay away from the shoe altogether, or maybe go down a whole size. But yeah, like I said, I really can't say with certainty, but that is what I'm going to recommend. I'm really glad that Adidas actually has a shoe that's very wide foot friendly, because I know some previous D Rose models, they've actually been narrow, so it's kind of weird that the D Rose 11 is actually a little bit wide now. But yeah, it is what it is. And then overall, in terms of the fit, it was okay. This midfoot to back half of the shoe, I didn't have any problems with the fit, but up in the toe box area, as you can see, there is a lot of volume up here. There's a lot of excess materials, which creates dead space up in the toe box, and it's definitely noticeable when you take a step in the shoe. You just feel like that toe box bubble, and it's a little uncomfortable at times, but when you're playing, you really won't notice it, but it is just something that you notice if you're just like walking around, especially if you're looking for it. So overall, outside of the dead space up in the toe box area, I would say that the fit is perfectly fine. If you don't like that extra material up in the toe box area, this is definitely going to bother you, because it's very, very noticeable. But if that doesn't bother you, then you probably won't mind. So moving on to the support, I thought the support in the D Rose 11 was actually really good. You do have this huge external heel counter, which runs down into like the middle portion of the shoe. It's just I don't know what to call this, but I'm just gonna call it a heel counter, because that's kind of basically what it is. You do have this heel counter, and you also have an internal heel counter in the shoe as well. And your heel is locked down. I didn't have any heel slippage whatsoever in this shoe. And in terms of the side to side movement on the footbed, I have slightly wide feet, so I didn't have any of that. The base of the shoe is really wide, and the cushion actually, kind of forms an outrigger itself. So you don't have any issues when it comes to lateral stability. I never felt like I was gonna roll over the footbed or anything like that. And then in terms of that torsional rigidity and stability, I'm not sure if there's a torsion plate in here, but it's definitely got you covered on this as well. And another thing that I really like about this external heel counter that basically extends into the midfoot of the shoe is it kind of acts as a container for your foot as well, just to make sure that your foot isn't sliding anywhere on that footbed. So overall, I would say that the support in the D Rose 11 is good as well. The D Rose 11 retails for $120, and honestly, I forget if that's like a price increase or decrease from the D Rose 10, but personally, I like the D Rose 11 a little bit better. I love Light Strike, and I'm glad that they finally put it on a D Rose model. And also, this shoe looks really cool. So if you guys are in the market for a good performance model, or you're like D Rose fans or anything like that, I don't think you'll be disappointed with this pickup. Just make sure to get through that break-in period for the traction, and then you guys should be good to go. And just watch out for that dead space up in the toe box area. If that's something that bothers you, then you probably won't like this shoe, because this has a lot of extra material in the toe box, which creates a lot of dead space. That's pretty much it for this performance review. If you all like this video, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button down below. Also smash that thumbs up button for me, as it really does help me out. While you guys are at it, check out this video on my left and on my right, and that's pretty much it. Until next time, peace.